else. He knows how to make the good transitions, but even him, I could see play differently sometimes. Whereas, like, I feel like a month or two ago, I would have said every single game, Swamos from out of Snute.
Yeah, I also love what Harston said about how it's a clash of styles.
Yes.
They're both very friendly, mannered, general people. And of course, like I think that's going to play into how they play these games out. And ready?
Let's jump into the game. We're on King Sejong Station for our first map here, and would you like to introduce the players?
I would love to. I'm not going to do the Huck-style Game of Thrones ones, but spawning down here at the bottom right, playing for Team Liquid, it is going to be Liquid Snute. And his opponent spawning all the way up to the top left, playing from the Netherlands, it is going to be, of course, Grubby as the red Protoss. And yeah, Todd, what, it's in King Sejong Station. It's a map that's been in the map pool for a little bit longer. We can see there is a pylon on the low ground. What, obviously there's a forge, but what do you think we'll see after that?
Well, I think Grubby is most likely, since he went for the pylon down the ramp like this, definitely going to be a forge play, probably with the Nexus first. I don't think he cannons here. I mean, he didn't rally his Nexus to the ramp just yet down there. So I think we're just going to see like some forge standard expansion, and out of Snute. Again, as I said, I'm kind of wondering, does he go into Swamos? This is a map where if you let Snute set up, you basically lost the game. There is just no winning against this guy in a game where he's able to split the map, to get his force and spines up, to get his static D everywhere, and just to reach that point comfortably. But Grubby, I think, is one of those very good players against Zerg in general, and in particular against Swamos. He knows what he has to do. He knows when he has to attack, when he has to go around. And he's definitely one of the better players at playing against this style. So if Snute was to go for that, I expect Grubby to really try and be the one to make something happen.
I knew it. You went for Gateway first.
Yeah. You knew it?
I've casted them before, and this is why I was saying about how they're so friendly, they're so mannered. They're not exactly the cheese, the hyper-aggressive type. So a Nexus first into a Gateway, and actually a pull first from Snute. So he could punish this if he wanted to.
Yeah, well, punish this, I guess.
A little bit.
Yeah, he could inflict some damage, maybe buy some time, force Grubby to pull probes and annoy him as much as possible. But I think Grubby is taking a bit of a gamble here because Snute doesn't really rush ever. He opens pull first almost every single game against Protoss, but he doesn't do like pull 9, pull 10, gas 10, pull 10, gas 14, pull 14, all that often. And by that, I mean almost never. So yeah, it's actually pretty smart of Grubby to do this, whereas against most other players, if you go for a gateway like this after a Nexus, you're really exposing yourself to maybe taking a lot of damage against any kind of rushers or early on pressure.
Yep, and Grubby will spot the drone at the third as it goes down, so there we are, he does see it now, he gets a confirmation. And of course he's going to head up into the main, see what's going on, see if the gas has been taken, but looks like the Zerglings will deny that scout.
Yeah, there was a queen in position anyway, and I think Grubby knows that, so he's just going to go home and mine there. Having seen 2 links now, I mean, and seeing the third hatch, he knows there's most likely no speed on the way with that timing because it wasn't a 3 hatch before pull. So Grubby exactly knows where it's at. He gets a Zealot first. We'll see if he follows this up with a Sentry, or if he does something like, say, a Stalker and a Stargate or something like that. You think Stargates?
That's a possibility from Grubby, and there it does get dropped right now. The Zerglings do spot it, so Snute is not going to be surprised by this.
You know, I was testing you. I knew it was probably going to be a Stargate.
I know.
And you dodged the question very well. You're like, that's a possibility as he throws down the Stargates. You need to take more risks than that, Pewee.
I know what you're like. But yeah, Stargate, this will be an Oracle, I'd imagine. Do you think he might follow it up with a couple of Phoenix because it's such a large map, or just go for the harassment?
Personally, I'm a big fan of getting at least a single Void Ray if you go for an Oracle first, because then you can defend against Roach attacks. And you can take out Overlords just as well as you will with the Phoenix. If you get 1 Phoenix, I feel you're committed to making more than just 1. Then again, I guess just getting 1, you could snipe Overlords, fly around, and scout with it as you would like with an hallucination. But in this case, since he's made a single sentry, and I expect he will make more, Grubby should have enough energy and hallucinations to keep on scouting, while I'm assuming he's going to be taking a third base not too long after this.
Yeah, he does drop an extra gateway, and he does have a proxy pylon or a probe on the map to add on pylons if he wants. So he could, if he gets some good damage done with this Oracle, follow up.
This is the Huck probe, by the way.
The one that never gets balanced and always
the Ninja probe that's just like out on the map and ready to proxy a pylon as the gateway is finished to put on some pressure. And in this case, Grubby doesn't have a force, so it's not going to be a +1 for. Ooh, he's adding some gates.
5.
I think he realized that this probe wasn't found. It's probably not going to be found before he can throw down the panel. The Oracle is not being looked at.
And he doesn't get any kills. The circling speed has started, and Roach Warren has begun as well. So Snute maybe starting to sniff something out. Of course, this is the time where you start to get your tech, because if you don't see a third from the Protoss, he's taking a 2-base attack.
I mean, the Oracle wasn't going to kill anything anyway, because there are spores, and I think Snute will be quick enough to pull drones, but you need to be careful that you don't lose hit points on top of all the shield. And the good thing that this Oracle could do is sit between the bases and snipe rallying drones that are being transferred to new bases. Oh my god, I'm so worried for Snute. Is he going to see the pylon? I don't think he's barely going to miss it. Look, it's barely out of the range of that Overlord, and I don't think the probe is going to be sent in. So,
it's so close.
Snute has no idea. He's not sacrificing an Overlord in Grubby's base. Snute has seen nothing. No, he sees a gas taken at the natural of Grubby. He's probably thinking, well, this is standard. But he's getting 24 links and 3 roaches. He smells this coming somehow.
Yeah, it must be because of the lack of third. But here comes Grubby coming in, targeting down the spine pole. Of course, he wants to pick that off this very important unit. The Oracle dealing some extra damage as well. But if he picks up the Queen, that is some extra damage the Oracle can deal with this against the Spore as well. And the drones are coming off the line. The Zerglings are fighting. They're trying to get this round onto the Stalkers. But nice micro from Grubby. The Mothership Core joins the fight. No time rope is available just yet. But it looks like Grubby's going to have a very cost-efficient trade because there is no Zergling speed yet.
Yeah, you know, Snute is that player who's known to gamble sometimes. He's very good in macro games. He likes to overdrone a bit. He kind of took over that title of King of Drones from Reds for some time. And at this point, Grubby is just saying, well, you like to make a lot of drones, you like to go for macro games, you like to go for Swarm Host. I'm not going to let you reach any of these things. I'm just going to pressure, do as much damage as possible. In this case, I'm wondering if Snute can hold, man. This is, with Grubby's micro?
It's getting very close. Another Queen did fall. The Spore Crawler is alive and did zone out the Mothership Core, but you know he's fighting off creep. He's got good unit control. The road speed hasn't finished yet, and Snute is losing units that he can't afford to lose right now because he needs to defend.
Look at the production tab, though. Snute is getting a lot of units out right now. He's getting road speed. He's really going to need that to help and defense. The roaches rallied from the natural and main take forever to reach that third base, and it does look like he might end up losing that third base, which would put him in a really bad position.
He can't actually build any more units. And also, how many drones did get killed out of the third? It was like 20 or so. So 18 drones have been killed, and it's only 3 difference right now. There's the third base falling. The Oracle taking some damage from the Queen. It looks like it won't get picked up.
Stalkers start dying. A little bit sloppy with the macro here. Grubby is pulling back, but the Roaches are targeting the Stalkers and chasing them down.
The speed is so close to finish up for the Roaches there. It does kick in, and of course that gives them a bit more microbility. Stalkers won't be able to escape as fast. But there's just too many numbers here for Grubby, and he's chasing them back. Queen is off the creep.
And Snute just made 4 overlords, even though he was losing a lot of units. That's way too much. That means he's not going to be able to make as many units. He moved the Spore. There is just too much for Grubby. I think this is it. He's just going to get into that natural, kill more. Even if he's hell here, he's just going to kill so many drones that it's not going to matter for Snute.
Yeah, he's up by 4 at the moment. The Roaches still microing. The Mothership Core might have enough energy for a time up, and if that gets stopped, the Roaches cannot be microed. And oh my god, it's just a numbers game now. Grubby's definitely going to be able to take this as the drones are coming back off the line. The Overlords are going to maybe get picked off as well, and the Mothership Core is uncontested in the skies. And there, the GG does get called. Grubby wins game number 1 with quite a, it was the 7-gate Oracle time in pretty much. Very well played.
I have to wonder, did Grubby just adjust on the fly? Like, did he scout the third base and think like, well, I'm going to try to hide that probe out, and then if I see that it's not found, I can try to go for a 7-gate and a pylon? Or do you think that's what he had in plans from the start?
I think so. I think something like that. Throw out like a curveball out there is going to knock Snute out of his comfort zone. Snute's not going to know what to expect next. He might play safer, and Grubby might play something like super greedy and get an economic advantage that way.
Grubby is one of the guys actually who back in the days on Ohana versus Nurture was doing like the 7-gate with like the core in the main, where like you chrono boost war gate a lot, which nobody really expected at the time because not too many people were doing it. Not too many people were actually hiding their core and the warp gate upgrade. But in this case, it was just a Stargate opener in the wall. He knew that Snute was going to see it. He made an Oracle, didn't commit with it, and then behind this, it was the gateways that were in the middle of his base. I don't think he didn't make a Stalker to deny any kind of Overlord scout. So if an Overlord had been sent on time, I think Snute would have been able to get enough units to hold.
One Overlord did fly in, and it got just out of range of the gateways, and then it turned around. But also, he did massively delay his Mothership Core as well, because by the time it flew across the map, it still didn't have 100 energy, and that takes about 90 seconds. So, He went for a very, it felt very calculated.
And you know, people say, or at least, you know, the analysis guys, they say like, well, I think Grubby is the favorite. Well, Harstem did predict Grubby was going to win, but he's Dutch, so it doesn't really count. But yeah, as Blink said, I think most people will agree Snute is the favorite.
Yeah.
The thing is, these guys in history, they are 3-3. It's actually very close in terms of series.
Yeah.
They didn't play this year, though. The last time they
No.
played was in 2013.
Yep, and that was the IM New York qualifier. And the game is loading, so we're going to jump into this. Going to do the introductions, and the map is Nimbus. So spawn in up here at the top left. Of course, game number one, if you win here, you will have a solid 2-0 going into the next stage of the groups. It is Grubby as the red Protoss. And his opponent losing the last game unsuspectedly. It is going to be, of course, Team Liquid's very own Snute at the bottom right as the blue Zerg. And of course, he has to win this to stay in the series. I do believe that Snute will win 2-1, so I think Snute will take the next two games.
Okay.
That's just my prediction, though.
All right. Keep that in mind. You know, this is a map where I feel like Swarmos is harder to pull off than on other maps. Obviously, you have like a very long distance to deal with if you want to reach your opponent's base, and setting up on 4 bases is not going to be easy. 3 bases, even 3 bases, you know, that third base is in kind of an awkward position.
Yes.
So if Snute was to play Swarmos on this map, I feel like the best way to do it will be with the double evolution chamber and the Zergling upgrades to have like a good pack of Zerglings, so that you can have some counter-attacking capability and all that. A way to play aggressive on this map to reach your opponents faster is to play with Niduses, which, since this map is still new, even though you might have played against some Niduses here and there, and like you might be aware of how strong it could be on this map, they're still very, very strong, because it's hard to have units everywhere and see them coming.
And yeah, I know Starbuck is a huge fan of them. He's done it against First recently as well. And yeah, there's a little spot below the ramp into towards the natural to an extent, which that's where they always kind of drop it.
Probably opening with like the old school, and I guess you could call it standard gateway plus gas. And I think this is going to be a 1-gate Nexus, since he walled off. Like, I think if you would want to go for something like, say, 4 gates, I don't think you wall off with it. Like, you make it next to your Nexus and hope you're scouted as late as possible. So yeah, just a standard 1-gas Nexus. See, he's mining gas with only 1 harvester right now. Gonna get the core. And Snute again, standard pull first into hatchery, and probably into a quick third base. I wonder how much Snute likes to delay speed most of the time. Like, does he mix it up and sometimes get speed before, started before he starts the third hatch? I think not.
No, he likes his consistency, Snute does. He really does. And I also like the fact that he's gone for the third onto the low ground, which is a bit harder to defend, but it gets saturated faster.
Wait a second. Grubby has a lot of chrono boost stacked up on his Nexus.